The 6th anniversary is almost coming to an end, with part 3 dropping in just a few days. And we already know that they always love to finish these big celebrations with a bang by dropping the new shiny Ultra unit. But what can the Ultra unit actually be? And can we expect a potential double Ultra release for the first time ever? Well, we're going to be going over exactly what we can see for this upcoming part 3 in terms of characters in both cases, whether it be a single or a double Ultra. But before that, drop a comment letting me know what units you want to see the most drop for part 3. Now let's start off with the single Ultra scenario. Now every celebration has had a single Ultra release ever since Legends Festival 2021 with the first summonable Ultra Super Gogeta. And for the most part, they've always been a Fusion Warrior unit with the exception of Legends Festival 2023 where they released Ultra UI Saiyan Goku. So when you think of the 6th anniversary and what Ultra we could see, the obvious choice would be a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta because it's literally the last fusion of Goku and Vegeta that we don't have in the Ultra rarity form. This also makes a lot of sense because GT has been getting buffs all year when they said that they would want to buff the tag throughout the year, and during this anniversary we haven't really gotten any new units for the GT tag. We did recently get the Zenkai for Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku, which most likely leads to some sort of GT buff for part 3, and we also did get the new Platinum equipment for Ultra Mega Shenron, so they're slowly starting to add some buffs for GT, and they probably have everything reserved for the big buff for part 3. Not to mention, Gogeta 4 as the Ultra would also follow the anniversary pattern of the original headlining LFs of the anniversary becoming the Ultra. First Anni SV became the 4th Anni Ultra, second Anni VB became the 5th anniversary Ultra, and now for the 3rd anniversary we had G4, and it would only make sense for him to drop as the Ultra for the 6th anniversary. Now despite all of this making sense, I don't necessarily think G4 has the highest probability of dropping for the part 3 Ultra. Now of course one of the biggest reasons for this is because we did get double fusions LF for part 1, which would indicate too many fusion units. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say, oh well, people didn't expect double fusions in the first place and we actually got for part 1. That is a good point. We've never seen double fusions ever dropped in an anniversary, especially 2 premium Fusion Warrior units. But since they've already broken the expectation and dropped 2 massive Fusion Warrior units, I don't think they're gonna go even further beyond and drop 3 in a row because they know exactly how much money Fusion Warrior units bring, and for them to just drop the whole load for one anniversary in their minds probably isn't the wisest thing to do. Now don't get me wrong, I would love to see Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta drop as an Ultra because you already know my favorite tag is Fusion Warriors, but I do think it's just a bit too much for this anniversary and they might want to tone it down just a little bit, right? And that would probably lead to the most probable option that most people have been anticipating, and it's a Super Saiyan 4 Goku Ultra unit. Yes, another Sun family buff. Now listen, I really don't want another Sun family buff, but let's face it, the only thing these producers are thinking is how much money they can make and the best way to maximize profits. And you already know a Super Saiyan 4 Goku Ultra unit is gonna do just that. But let's face it, even if we don't get a Sun family buff, the Ultra unit is just gonna be leader slotted on a Sun family team anyway, right? So regardless of what the Ultra is gonna be, it's not gonna be a fun time, PvP wise at least. Now Super Saiyan 4 Goku would also kind of match the Legends Festival celebration that we just got, where we got Ultra UI Saiyan Goku. This is technically both Gokus in their highest form or their most powerful form from Super and GT. Now granted, it wasn't Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, it's still a form of Ultra Instinct, right? So to kind of mirror that Ultra Instinct and dropping Super Saiyan 4 Goku would kind of make a lot of sense. Now like I said, at this point Super Saiyan 4 Goku is looking like the most probable outcome as the Ultra for part 3. What if it's not GT related at all? Well, the only other thing that would make sense would be a future related buff. Now we did just get the new unique equipment for Super Saiyan 2 Trunks and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, and we also even got the unique equipment for Vegito Blue. Not to mention we also got a Zenkai for Corrupted Merge Zamasu. Now it's important to keep note that we also didn't get a new summonable future unit in almost a year, the last one being the LF Purple Perfect Form Cell. So if it actually is a future unit, well, the only one that comes to mind is a Fusion Zamasu. The last summonable Fusion Zamasu we have is the Sparky one we got during the 2nd anniversary, and of course I'm only talking about the regular one, not the Corrupted Merge Zamasu who we did get an LF for during the 3rd anniversary. Now of course it's important to note that Fusion Zamasu is in fact a fusion unit, but he would mainly be a future God Key or powerful opponent buff, and Fusion Warrior would practically be the 4th important tag that he would buff. Now this is ideally what I would personally want to see the most because it's not a Sun family buff, it's a powerful opponent buff, and overall it would be better meta wise since I doubt people would just leader slot him on Sun family. To be honest, people would still do it. Now some can argue he's not hype enough, which is definitely fair when compared to units like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but I personally think it's a solid option if they were to go with a future or a powerful opponent buff. So now the options I just mentioned are probably the most likely outcome them, but let's just say they go completely random and drop some other type of unit, right? Regardless of what types of buff we've been getting, just strictly hype-wise. What's only fair to mention Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Now keep in mind we only have one MUI Goku in the game, and that's the LF we got for the 4th anniversary. So it's been 2 years since we haven't gotten a MUI Goku in game. Now personally, as an Ultra unit, I think he'd probably be the most hype unit that they can ever drop. Yes, even hyper than Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, even hyper than any of those units, right? But I do think it's a bit too early for him, simply because we just got Ultra UI Saiyan Goku 7 months ago for Legends Festival 2023. And for them to drop the mastered version only 7 months later, I think it would be just a bit early. So me personally, I think that MUI Goku would either drop for Festival 2024 or 7th anniversary, which would make a lot of sense because he's the 4th anniversary LF unit. 3 years later, he gets his Ultra, and it follows the anniversary pattern. Outside of MUI Goku, we could also see a Dragon Ball Super Broly, because I do think he is a deserving unit for an Ultra, but again, he might not be hype enough alone to carry Part 3, especially when you consider Z Broly, who many people would argue is a lot more hyper than the DBS Broly. His Ultra was dropped during a random month prior to Legends Festival 2022. So if they were to ever drop him as a Celebration Ultra, it would probably be alongside like another Gogeta or something, right? And so one last option I want to throw in as a single Ultra would be Ultra Majin Vegeta. Now personally, don't get mad at me, but I don't think there is any Vegeta unit that would be hype enough to be an Ultra for an anniversary alone, other than Ultra Ego Vegeta, which will never happen, at least anytime soon. Majin Vegeta would be an ideal pick in my opinion, but he feels more like an Ultra you would get in between celebrations, such as, you know, Ultra Janemba, Ultra Golden Frieza, units like that. I would obviously take Majin Vegeta over Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but in terms of revenue, which is all they really care about, there is no way they drop him or any other Vegeta unit unless they drop him alongside another Ultra, which is a great segue over to the double Ultra scenario for Part 3. And like I mentioned in the beginning, we've only been seeing single Ultra releases for these big celebrations. So seeing a double Ultra release has never been seen. But you gotta keep in mind that that doesn't really matter because people thought double fusions would never happen, and look at Part 1. So we can't really exclude this possibility. It's also worthwhile to mention that the reveals and stuff announcement that they had on Twitter, and I believe it's in the news now, they mentioned that the reveals and stuff will immediately start off with a big reveal, which means they're gonna start the reveals and stuff live stream with the new character revealed. Do you understand what this means? Basically, it means that there's a high chance they reveal an Ultra starting off the live stream and then fake out with another Ultra at the end of the reveals. This is highly probable because we all know how much Toshi loves those fake out endings. He's been merching that shit ever since the 2nd anniversary. So if double Ultras actually become highly possible, what 2 units can we see? Well, basically this becomes a lot more flexible because when you're releasing double premium units, you realistically only need one hype unit to carry the whole part, and then you can throw them with another unit, right? Now that's not to say that the second unit can be complete dog shit. They have to be hype as well, but there's not that many options where you can see 2 hype units drop at the same time, with the exception of Part 1. A very popular choice I've been seeing, and I think would be the most probable outcome if we see a double Ultra release, is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta versus Zamasu. And the reason why it's a popular choice is because they would be revisiting the 3rd anniversary headlining unit. And once again, this would follow the anniversary pattern, because during the 3rd anniversary, we technically had 2 headlining units, Corrupted Merge Zamasu and G4. So if they were to drop their Ultra version 3 years later, both of them dropping as the Ultra variant would actually make a lot of sense. But other than that, some form of Future versus GT seems like the most probable. Outside of Fusion Zamasu, there isn't really any character that can carry the hype like him, because we already have Ultra Rose, we already have Ultra VB. Super Saiyan Blue Goku could work, I guess. Rage Trunks can work as well, but that would be a Sun family or a hybrid buff, and we don't want to see that. There's also the possibility of getting double GT buffs, and that would imply a Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta release. Like I mentioned, Vegeta is not capable of carrying the hype alone in my opinion, so pairing him alongside a Super Saiyan 4 Goku would actually work out quite well. I personally wouldn't be completely opposed to that idea because we would get a Vegeta and a Goku, but once again, those are Sun family buffs, and you know, we're not really there for that. But at the end of the day, we're definitely gonna see some sort of Sun family buff because it's pretty much inevitable. So yeah, there's not many specific options for double Ultra because you still need one Ultra to carry some hype, and we've already mentioned the ones that realistically have a chance to drop for the 6th anniversary Part 3. It really comes down to pairing that hype unit alongside one that's not so hype, and you just call it a day. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting for Part 3 of the 6th anniversary. Like I said, drop a comment letting me know what you guys want to see the most for this upcoming part to wrap things up for this anniversary. But let's be real, what's really gonna drop for Part 3 is our first Ultra Legends Limited unit. If that happens, we're cooked.